It's here. Woo! Oh, yes, good morning. The sun is shining, the birds are singing, and good morning to voltage enthusiasts everywhere. This is the EV Café News, the only show that keeps you charged up on all things electric. Forget that lukewarm, boring news stuff, because we're here at the EV Café, serving up piping hot news and analysis in the world of zero-emission transport, all supported by our news partners, Drax Electric Vehicles, accelerating the transition to EV for your business. This week, our sparky opinions with tethered charging cables are the quite wonderful Paul Kirby. Are you well, Paul?
I am exceptionally well. I've had the morning in the garden, waxing eloquent about the wonderful decarbonisation theatre, darlings, next week. And it's all on LinkedIn. Go check it out. It's amazing. I'm so excited. I'm very overexcited, actually.
So let me just get this right. Paul being waxed in the garden before the commercial vehicle show. Ew.
Something like that, yes.
The even more wonderful Sam Clark. Good morning, Sam. Lovely to have you here. How are you diddling?
Very well. Even more wonderful. I'll take that. Thank you very much. Yep. No waxing required here. And no lounging around in the garden either. But delighted to be here and looking forward to the news as always.
Good man. Paul, I was only kidding, mate. Stop it now.
Nah, the grumpy face is wonderful.
With your Brazilian. Stop it. And then we have the quite wonderful Queen of Green, Sarah Sloman. How you diddling?
Very, very well. Today is my quarterly mop chop. I will be having my hair cut this afternoon, and I literally can't wait because that is a nice thing to do on a Friday.
Far too many hair stories for my liking. Waxing and hair chopping. Let's move on. Ditch the fossil fuel fumes, grab your favourite mug and plug in to the electrifying stories we've got for you. And coming up, cash-strapped councils are suddenly feeling flush with EV infrastructure investments. What sparked this change? TikTok! The deadline to dodge the government's isolation policy is looming. Are you ready? I know. I don't know who writes this stuff.
It's you. You wrote it.
Ahoy there, eco-sailors. Aqua Superpower is making waves with their electric Seaway. Interesting. And Europcar spills the beans on why some folks are still stuck in the slow lane when it comes to EVs. But they are most certainly not stuck. Motoring ahead with some great EV support and some really fabulous numbers from Europcar just come out. Anyway, stay tuned. It's going to be an ultra rapidly charged half hour. Oh, and a happy birthday to old two mugs himself, Ash Bannister.
Happy birthday.
Ash. Happy birthday, Ash.
Yeah, he's celebrating big style. The fire brigade are on standby for his cake. Oh dear, Sam's got the dust off his hooter. Before he passes on, should we do the EV Café commercial clap where we highlight innovation and new things in our industry?
The commercial clap from the EV Café.
Innovation applauded.
Right, 3 minutes past 10 if you're clock watching. We got a wiggle. Polestar are now providing battery health reports for their used cars. They've introduced a state of health certificate for pre-owned Polestar 2 models, certifying the usable battery as a percentage. The certificate is provided as part of a 112-point check designed to give used car buyers additional peace of mind when purchasing a used Polestar 2. They are opening up their first pre-owned space in Birmingham next month at Erdington, focusing purely on fully checked and prepped pre-owned Polestars. And you'll get the same experience as if you were buying a new one. We've long championed two things: sale of used electric vehicles and two, battery state of health checks. Really impressed that Polestar are cracking on with that one. Next up, a UK-engineered electric motor by Advanced Electric Machines has reached an operational milestone of 4 million kilometres or 2.5 million miles in commercial transport operations. The fleet of HDRM 300 motors, designed and engineered in the UK by Advanced Electric Machines, were initially deployed in 2022, and the miles were covered across Asia and prove that battery electric vehicles can be huge, but EV is reliable and they can cover the miles you need. And finally, in the commercial clap, the Chinese electric vehicle EV battery manufacturer, CATL. Now, do you know what CATL stands for? Anybody who does, wham it in the chat. First one to get to CATL and what it stands for gets a tin of sweeties. They've developed a new battery. Sorry, mate?
It's a group of cows.
Ah, he's good, you know.
Oh.
Take your horny nonsense elsewhere. They have developed a new battery that supports 1.3 megawatt charging. The Shenzhen superfast charging battery is capable of adding enough power to drive 320 miles in just 5 minutes. It charges at a maximum rate of 1.3 megawatts, adding 1.5 miles of range per second in peak conditions. And for those naysayers, in low temperature, where things are a little slower, it can achieve a charge from 5% to 80% in 15 minutes. The world is a-changing, people. The naysayers are running out of things to say. That, my friends, is the commercial clap! Shall we get on with the news? Oh, go on then. Thank you, guys, for joining in with the commercial clap. Now, some shockingly good news to kick off. Our local councils are finally plugging in serious cash into EV chargers. A whopping 42% a whopping 42% surge in investment year on year, according to some of the digging that's been done by our partner Schneider Electric. They've done that Freedom of Information request, and that's like going from home charging to megawatt power surging. 42% increase. Now then, before you do a celebratory e-drift, here's the slightly less electrifying bit. It seems that while they're busy installing shiny new points, some councils have forgotten a rather crucial detail: checking if they actually work. Apparently, monitoring charger performance isn't exactly top of local authorities' to-do list. So, you want to know the numbers? Out of 67 councils surveyed, a measly 15% could proudly declare that all of their chargers were up and running. Meanwhile, over half admitted they had absolutely no clue if their chargers are even functioning. And the cherry on top, one poor council reported a frankly outrageous 2.8% of their chargers working in the last 6 months. Yes, I read that right. You've got a better chance of finding a unicorn charging its mythical horn in that particular area. Where do we start, Sarah? That's a shocker.
It is. We mustn't use puns like shocker and shocking in this industry. But I do have a little bit of sympathy to add there. Bear in mind, a lot of councils are outsourcing this service to larger CPOs who can manage and maintain this uptime in the light of the public charging regulations, meaning some of those chargers that haven't been working in the last 6 months was probably strategic, probably intentional. And so sometimes you just got to think about the people behind these stats. It's not all doom and gloom. Partnership and collaboration is everything with that public-private sector gap closing. And good job we've got a thing on this next week at the CV show, because we will in fact be talking to 4 local councils and hearing from the horse's mouth what they are doing about it.
But we need to rely on these charges, don't we? And when you start to see, I mean, we as industry experts can unpick this a little bit and say, do you know what? There are reasons why this happens. When those who are less enlightened see these stats coming out, inevitably, Sam, they're likely to say, do you know what? I was right, you know, those EVs, they're never going to work.
Well, yeah, I think you're right, and there's a huge swathe here in the statistics that you shared. The fact that 15% of councils could report 100% is actually quite impressive. To have all chargers working at all times is nigh on impossible. So that's actually quite a positive piece of statistic.
Yeah,
but
true.
But yeah, there's a lot of chargers sat on streets that aren't being used. They're getting banged by vans, and no one knows whether they're fixed or not, and it just creates a terrible image. So you know, it's. Right chargers, right place, right time. And I fear, as always, as I've said for many years, I think they're putting in the wrong chargers at the wrong place at the wrong time. And now they don't even know which ones are working, which ones aren't. So it's only going to get worse by the feel of it too. So, you know, I'd rather see less chargers, but more councils with 100% reliability than trying to throw good money after bad, trying to manage all these chargers and then not looking after them. It's a fool's errand. So I think it's a really interesting piece. And the numbers, as you say, John, paint very different pictures depending on what lens you look at it through.
Yeah,
Right.
And Pablo, from a commercial perspective,
I have to take issue. I have to take issue first. It's not the van's fault. It's not vans banging into chargers. It's everything banging into chargers. Don't blame the vans for the damage. Bloomin' heck. Anyway, what I was excited about was Chris Dimitru also they have a replacement program there in Islington and doing a great job, and also with the first megawatt charger. Did you know? And that's all live and working in their sites. But yes, John, sorry, you had a question.
No. It was purely the impact that it has on business, Paul. So businesses require certainty. Charging infrastructure needs to provide that certainty so that businesses will say, yes, I'm going to invest in this, and I can trust that whatever charger I go to, we have that uptime, we have them working, and I can do my job. It's a shocker, isn't it? Well, sorry,
Absolutely.
That's the second time.
Yeah.
I'll stop.
but it is so important, and companies that provide charging should always consider how do they provide a maintenance and sort of service level agreements to all of their customers. And one of the customers that I work with, which will be exhibiting at the CV show next week, Vital EV Solutions, has always built their business around really short SLAs and giving insight. And I think that's something that needs to be replicated across the industry. And I'm sure many others do provide it, but so important to keep those chargers working or to deliver solutions when they stop working really quickly.
Absolutely right. 11 minutes past 10, everybody. You know what time it is? It's time for the shout-outs. Oh,
Shout-outs!
Yes! 7:30 this morning. Gary Comerford, EV Musings. Door smashed in. Good work, my friend. Steve Warts, Economy Trucks. He's now got his EV Café mug. It arrived this week. And thank you for your message. Really appreciate it. At Economy Trucks, yeah, really good to see. Screenwash King, he's here, it's James. Now, James, screenwash, really important in sunny days where the sun is just creeping up and you need to have that clear screen. Don't use bottles of water, use tabs. Let's move on. Daryl Sharp, good morning, my friend. Good to see you. It's 0% boring here. You're darn right, my friend. It's Fun of Friday. And as Scott Eady says, it's Friday. And he's got his legs out. Oh, no. Teresa Swift, hello, darling. Already spoken to you at 8:30 this morning. Lovely to catch up with you. Michael Barton in sunny Bristol. Hello. Russ Morgan. He's getting a coffee at 9:56. He's pushing his luck. And then he's here. It's DEV Chakravarti in the house. Ron Godfrey. He's here. And then, great news. It's Peter Heath. He's got nice teeth.
Got great
oh, yes.
teeth.
All those millions I've spent on advertising.
Show.
Yes, he'll be there next week.
Exhibitor.
You can come and give Peter a hug. He loves hugs. Now then, Marvin Samuels from Sunny Chester. Hello, mate. Lulu O'Hagan. Have your sweets arrived yet, dear lady? Do tell us. Leon Gomez. Good to see you. Paul Shearer Barnfather. God blimey. Yes, she said last week she hadn't got them. Sarah Kennel. Oh, you're back. Nice to see you, my friend. Ian Mayhew. Hello, Tom Middleditch. Hold up. He's in the news later. Tom Middleditch. I'm even going to quote the man. Right. Europe Car. Lovely to see you. Ash Bannister. Old birthday boy himself is here. Blow out them candles before your building burns down. Leo Pickford in Derbyshire. Karen Mull. She's also from Europe Car. She's on a train and tuning in. See, you can do it if you want to. Toby Hiles. Oh, he helped me during the week with a little something I'm up to. Good work, my friend. Thank you. Phil Hughes. Morning, people. Belinda Guy. Hello, you. Where are we? Laura Hustwick Wilkes from Power. Hello, Sarah Sloman, whatever. Ben McDonald. Yay, good to see you. Phil Hughes. Oh, I do like the Polestar 4. I saw one yesterday with no rear windscreen, and my lordy, does that thing look sexy. Stuart Humphrey, you're getting a big hug. Defo. Now then, where are we? Mark Smith, MBA. Ooh, utterly ridiculous. Oh no, utterly ridiculous. I saw what you did there. Utterly, yes. Ian Mayhew, great to see you. Chris Demetrio with his replacement programme in Islington. Liz Allen, hobbling around on crutches. Oh no, what's happened? What you been doing? There's a LinkedIn user from sunny Scotland. Do tell us, is that Peter Heath or somebody else? Anthony Boyd from very sunny Edinburgh. And I saw Anthony at the Net Zero event this week that I chaired and had a lovely time out with wonderful people. Dave Pickles. Does he pickle it, do you wonder? Now then. Catel used to be Attel back when they powered Apple gadgets. Do you know what, Honesty 2022? I don't know who you are, but you've just won yourself a tin of sweets. If you hit us up on LinkedIn, EV Café is what you need to search for. The EV Café. Search for us, send us a DM. We will send you a little tin of sweeties eventually. Now then, oh no, Lugu's not. She pas de bonbons. She has no bonbons.
No.
Right, we're getting on the
Sorry.
case once more because they have now been transferred to our wonderful PA who is now going to send them to you, and if she doesn't, we're going to send the lads round. Right, okay, let's move on. Thank you everybody for joining us. We really love your action. Now then, remember back in 2021 there was a bold promise from the government that they were going to ditch the dinosaur juice and go full zero emission by 2027 for all of their cars and vans. Well, it seems they lost the memo or couldn't work out how to charge up the vehicles because government departments and their quirky little cousins, you know, the arm's length bodies like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, like the National Highways and Environment Agency, they've been given a get out of jail free card. Basically, they've got to the end of May to plead the case for why they absolutely, positively need to cling on to their petrol and diesel vehicles. The Department for Transport, bless their bureaucratic hearts, issued some guidance last year which gave them this get out of jail free card. And now the clock is ticking, louder than a diesel truck with a blown exhaust. May the 31st is the deadline to justify those noisy, dirty engines. It's not good enough, you know, government. We will see a flurry of hilarious excuses, I expect, including we need to the extra fumes to keep the pigeons away from Parliament. Only time will tell. But the clock is definitely ticking for fossil fuel. Paul, this is unforgivable, surely. We have government saying we're going to lead the way, we're going to deliver this by this date, and then we say, oh, but you can get an exemption and don't worry about it.
It is tricky. I think that you've got a couple of big companies that I can think of, Defra and Network Rail, huge fleets, like massive, that have got to effectively replace 10,000 vehicles in the next 18 months. And the reality is it's all been left too late. And now it's, they're supposed to go all electric by the end of 2027.
Yeah, but this was
and
2021 when this initiative started.
6
They've already
years.
had 4
Oh
years.
yeah, no, I get that, but I mean,
not-
in
it's
a
not
lot of
18
cases,
months.
in Networks Rail's case, there isn't the vehicles on the road. There hasn't been the vehicles on the road in order to be able to make those changes. So I can kind of get some of it, but where there isn't really an excuse is the local councils, where in those local councils, it's there's no reason why they couldn't go to electric vehicles other than power, and power's been a problem. So I kind of get the challenges that they're being faced with, but I do agree completely that this is being left to the last minute and they've not been given the hope. We look at the Levi Fund. The Levi Fund was put out there, but they're not delivered. The Rapid Charge Fund was put out there and they're not delivered. So I got a somewhat of a sympathy with the people that are having to deliver this. But equally, I don't see that it's helpful that the government, once again, because all of the uncertainty has really not helped. It's certainty that we needed. We lost certainty towards the end of the last administration. We gained it again at the beginning of the new administration. It's all really difficult for them to make decisions. And I understand it, but I totally advocate that we should absolutely push towards sensible deadlines and provide all the support that those fleets need.
Really interesting. Toby Hiles just saying there that some government departments don't even have salary sacrifice schemes in place to encourage people to use EVs, Sarah. Having worked both of us for the public sector, that seems odd.
Yeah, it is. They do run into difficulties with sort of staff benefits. I get that. And also I've got Lorna McAteer's voice in my head saying it's all fine except for the 4x4s. There are a lot of council vehicles that are required, particularly in rural environments, to go off-road or off to sort of very remote places, the same with a lot of our utility companies. So it's really difficult to sort of cast aspersions without knowing what that fleet mix really truly looks like. But we know for a fact from trends and patterns that when the staff are involved and bums are on seats, then it does start to give confidence to the powers that be, the decision makers, the stakeholder engagement up and down the chain. So yet again, I just hope that local authorities are given permission to come out to shows like CV Show next week, Install Alive and Carfest even in their own time, to come and see what EV could really mean.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know if Honesty 2022 is accurately named. The host of this show's a guy no one should ever buy a car or double glazing from. How rude. I've got nothing.
rude.
I've got nothing to sell, my friend. I'm just here telling you the news, you know? I think you're on the wrong show. Anyway, thanks for joining, and goodbye. Honesty 2022. Do they still get their sweets? Maybe. Sam, government departments, I always believe they should be leading the way, and it is a difficult balance between making sure that kids have got education, food, hospitals have all of the things that they need, and EV charging, which seems to many to be the area that, you know, the rich and famous have electric vehicles. Being rich and famous, would you agree with that? That justifying EV spend is actually quite difficult sometimes.
Well, I think it's always difficult because this is a new, as we all know, this is a new era of electrification of vehicles on the road, and it's not easy. None of it's easy. But if the government's going to set its own standards and then fail to deliver on them, then they need to be held to account. So I've got no sympathy. They did their analysis back in 2021. They decided to make a commitment, and now they're putting loads of exemptions in to navigate around it. It's just not acceptable. There's too many businesses that have already proven that it's doable. And Sarah made a good point that there are niches that still have huge amount of challenges, like pickup trucks, for example. But that should be the exception, not the rule, right? They should be in a position now where 80-90% of the vehicles have been electrified, and then we're tackling the exemptions on those vehicles that aren't technologically capable yet. But what we're finding actually is that it's been quite hard basket, and they kick the can down the road. And there's always with these things, when there's legislation that's set, it's the last couple of years that everyone starts waving their hands, going, "Oh no, there's a problem," because they haven't done stuff early enough. Well, get on with it. Just do stuff. Don't start sentences with need and we should. Just get on and do it. And if they'd done that 4 years ago, we wouldn't be talking about it now. So I've just got little sympathy because yes, there are niches and yes, there are challenges, but that should only be a small proportion. And it's disappointing that they haven't made more progress.
Indeed. Police Scotland. There's a brilliant comment from Leon Gomez. Police Scotland are way ahead in electrifying their fleet with strategy and a plan to be fully electric by 2030, and they've already got 4,000 vehicles. Guess who wrote that strategy? Let's move on. Oh, yeah! It was the guy you wouldn't buy an electric vehicle from, honesty, just in case you wondered. Right, next story. Aqua Superpower have teamed up with their Super Squatter partners to officially announce the Electric Seaway, which has been a resounding success. What? You're not aware of the Electric Seaway? Sounds dangerous to me. Electricity and water, they shouldn't mix. Or is that another myth busted on the EV Café? Anyway, you may remember back in June 2023, the UK Shipping Office for Reducing Emissions, otherwise known as SURE, splashed out £3.2 million, and it looks like it's money well spent. They've plugged in 8 brand new spanking charging spots along the UK south coast, creating a proper network for our growing fleet of electric sea chariots. We're talking spots like Ocean Village in Southampton, the Isle of Wight's Trinity Landing, and even Foy in Cornwall, which boasts a duo of chargers, including one with a rather clever ZPN battery backup. Think of it as like a big seafaring bower banky thing. It's all good. But wait, there's more current flowing. Aqua has also juiced up their network with speedy charging locations in Leamington, Chichester, Itchenor, and Falmouth. Sam, do you have a yacht?
No, I don't. My sea legs have got a lot worse as I've got older, so I get seasick very, very quickly. But when I am anywhere near the water, I often see the exhaust, sort of the exhaust fumes bouncing off the top of the water, and thinking that, what a pity that is, Whereas some of the images on the links I just saw from this news article just really is quite beautiful. Really, those chargers on the side of the moorings, even if it's the small boats that are moving around, which will do so effortlessly, quietly, and without any fumes bouncing off the sea or the water, I think is just lovely. So it's why not? It's a great idea.
Paul, I think I've had an idea. Guinness World Record.
I was there. I was absolutely there. Yeah, I think either that or row across the Atlantic. One of the two. I sense lots of good things there.
Yes, well, rowing across the Atlantic isn't electric, is it?
Oh, they use solar. They use solar to power all their equipment. That's how they do it. So there's solar and I'm
Paul
sure
just
we
wants
can
to
put
get
a
rid of
little
you for 2
electric
months.
motor, something like that. Yeah.
Do you know what? I would like to interrupt to bring good news because, of course, a lot of cities in Europe have long since had electric boats in and around their transportation infrastructure. And we did a study about could we connect North Somerset to South Wales and reduce the impact on the M4 and M5 interchange. And it was deemed to be appropriate with hydrogen, would you believe? So if we can move towards things like electric moorings, and you could easily imagine the Red Funnel ferry one day being fully electric to get us to and fro the Isle of Wight.
Golly, the Red Funnel Ferry, that brings back memories of my town of birth. Now then, final story. It's the Europcar story. Rental giants and our good buddies at Europcar have just dropped their 2025 sustainability report, and it's got more sparks flying than a faulty charging cable, but you don't get faulty charging cables. Everything works beautifully in the EV world. Turns out you lovely lot are getting seriously charged up about EVs, and demand is zooming. However, it's not all smooth cruising. The report, cleverly titled Sustainable Evolution, also shines a spotlight on the bumps in the road to full electric bliss. Range anxiety? It's not a myth anymore. Think again, it's gone. But Europcar's report is dishing the deets for fleets. That's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
EVs are cool, but there are still a few hiccups. Now, Tom Middleditch, we mentioned him earlier, the head honcho of electric vibes at Europcar UK, had this to say. Despite the government doing a bit of a U-turn on the hybrid situation until 2035, the electric urgency is still totally a thing. That may not have been his words. Maybe I just put those in his mouth. Anyway, he then went on to say Europcar's on a quest to squash EV doubts, the fear, the uncertainty, and will it get me to the biscuit aisle kind of questions. They want to win your electric hearts and minds. And, well, Tom, we're right there with you. More people experiencing the silent zoom of an EV through rentals sounds like a great plan. But, and here's the really important bit. Tom and the team have been doing their own stuff, so they don't just preach. They've been out and they've done electric vehicle stuff. Over 1 million electric miles delivering and collecting everybody's rental vehicles from customers using those EVs that they bought last year, saving 79,000 kilograms of CO2, and that's the same as 168 passengers on a return flight from Paris to New York. All of their EV support internally in 2024 saved 169 tonnes of CO2, about the same as Paul's wallet. Outstanding. I know. And Paul, we've worked really long, hard and close, and we've got calls later today with Europcar yet again to keep pushing back the boundaries here. Utterly brilliant performance.
Absolutely. Rental has been one of those sectors that is really difficult to electrify. The use cases in the initial phases really were challenging, and certainly the cost model. But they have persevered, they are pressing on, and they are making a difference. The whole price parity bit, the doing it themselves and learning, they are able to properly educate the people that come in and want to take an electric vehicle or have been offered an electric vehicle and kind of gone, all right then, and then they're able to educate because they've got experience, and that's brilliant. Learn it, get experience, and then share that experience. Always good.
Now then, the Slowminator has put into the chat, I have an idea for you, Tom Middleditch. Read behaviour change versus bums on seats versus dealerships. Tell us more, Sarah.
Dealerships are struggling to convert people to buy EV because they can only ever allow a 1 to 2 hour test drive, which is accompanied, which sucks. So why doesn't Europcar team up with the dealerships and offer drivers a discount if they convert from a hire to a buy?
Now then, I think we've talked this through with Polestar potentially, and the fact that Europcar have 300 Polestars on their fleet, and it would be a really good thing to be able to do to pair that all up. And yeah, there's lots that can be done here. It's all exciting stuff, Oh yes, EV Café news. Now then, I think that's about all we've got time for.
Oh, what?
I know. It's 10:29, so I think I ought to wrap this up. That's your electrifying dose of EV news for the week. Now then, if you've got any juicy clean transport tidbits or PR gems, slide into our DMs at hello@evcafe.org. We promise to handle it with more spark than your average charging session because it's safe and healthy and all carefully regulated. So, it's cheerio from yours truly, the man who can't sail a car or indeed double glazing.
Double glazing.
And a collective wave goodbye from our highly charged team. Now then, other sustainability news services. Other sustainable Are they sustainable?
Sustainable.
Are they sustainable?
Probably.
Anyway, this is just funny! A massive thank you to our incredible partners who keep the wheels turning. The AA, Webfleet, Europcar, Iveco, Spiry, Schneider Electric, Dynamon, EV Blocks and AW Energy. You are the real stars of our EV world, with the EV Café supported by Drax Electric Vehicles, helping all of us plug into a cleaner future, one news story at a time. Have a fantastic rest of the day and a weekend that's positively charged. Until next Friday, keep it electric. Bye.
Bye. I
Div
shut
check
the door for the
Cavati.
funny.
Funa.